Well, I have a reason to be a little bit miffed these days. I think everybody does. You take a look at what's going on right now, and it just drives me out of my mind. You've got Hillary Clinton up there. She's winning, she's losing, she's winning, she's losing. You've got Obama slamming Hillary, Hillary slamming Obama. It's like watching a couple of sophomores in high school vie for some cheerleader contest. Who's going to be the best cheerleader? We've got food shortages, we've got oil shortages, we've got water shortages, but we don't have any shortages. If you check and look at the real food supply, the farmers, the people, they'll tell you we've got plenty of food. We've got a water supply problem. Well, we do in one sense. We have the sense that we have a water supply problem because a good deal of our water supplies here in the United States of America are owned by foreign corporations, including Saudi Arabia, China, Russia, and a bunch of other places. Why are we selling our water to other places? They could turn around and say, okay, it's 80 bucks a gallon tomorrow. Then what are we going to do? But we don't think about these things. We have a guy here that's running around trying to sell our water, our aquifer, to Dallas that's got a shortage. Now, what mystifies me about this, and maybe I'm simplistic by nature, I don't know, but what mystifies me is we can take a man, walk on the moon, we can send big bouncing bubbles all the way over to Mars and get pictures back and have them scoop up rocks and do soil analysis. We can zip something past Neptune, Jupiter, Uranus, and take a look at their volcanoes and their moons and snap pictures and everything else, but we can't desalinate our water. We are 2/3 water, and we've got shortages. Does this seem right? Can't we like desalinate the water and shove it through a pipeline like we do oil and gas? You know, even a dehumidifier in the driest of circumstances will render some water. Sure, it takes a little bit of energy, but we're not talking about efficiency right now. We're talking about, do we have any water? Can we get water? In most areas of the world that are especially tropical, if they don't have any water, it's very easy and inexpensive to dehumidify that. In the morning there's always dew on the ground or some such thing, and that's the very principle you use to condense water at any given air temperature. Why can't we do that? What is going on here? We've also got the rules, the laws, and the politics. In Maine, you can't look at children anymore. If you stare for what is a subjective period of time by a police officer, anybody that might be watching you, you can be hauled into jail and charged with a Class C felony. So they are going to decide what you were looking at and what was going through your mind while you were looking. Now, I agree, if I see some guy lurking around a bathroom and my daughter happens to be in there, I'm going to be a bit quizzical and ask him what the heck he's doing there, and if he fails to respond to me properly, I will call the police because I have a cell phone on me. If my kids find somebody staring at them unnaturally, I encourage them to make a phone call. First to me, especially if we're nearby and depending on the circumstances, and then right to 911. Alright, that aside. We've got big burly police officers tasering 80-year-old women who can't weigh 75, 80 pounds because she did not do what the police officer told her to do, so he was within his rights to protect himself, taser her. She died. She was going for her hearing aids because she couldn't hear what was going on, but she got tasered. People are being tasered all the time now, and they're dying. We all saw during the Al Gore episode, got police officers all over the place. No, they choose to taser somebody. What happens if you're in Japan? If you're in Japan, they get you in some kind of a pinch grip and they take you out. You don't have a choice. Why can't we teach our officers that police script? I mean, these Japanese guys, they're small little fellas. They're fierce fighters. I wouldn't want to come up against them. I was over there for 4 years. I trained with them. I know what they can do. It's incredible to me that we tell a police officer, first you defend yourself. Here, we're going to give you a taser gun, we're going to give you a regular gun, we're going to give you plenty of ammunition, but we're not going to train you in the martial arts at all, because God forbid you should have to go up against a little old woman holding a broom in her hand. No, the best thing to do is stand back, aim, and fire. And that also has happened. Little old lady with the broom trying to get the police officers out of her house. They came after her. They thought it was a weapon. They thought it was a gun. Oh my God. Yeah, mistaking a broom for a rifle. Alright, so we have an economic crisis. We have a food crisis. We have a political crisis. Everything is starting to crater. What's the common thread? Take a look at what's going on. What's going on is, while the government is doing two things to us. One, taking away our rights in the middle of the night. Number two, making sure we have a ton of entertainment to keep our minds off politics and local activities. They don't want us to know. We're 300 million strong. I mean, God forbid we should raise up. Take, for example, what happened in Colorado just a couple weeks ago. 10,000 people showed up to have their ceremonial marijuana cigarette right there on the grounds of, I think, Colorado University or someplace over there. Point is, there was 10,000 of them and there was 8 police officers. The police officers decided they were not going to arrest anybody. Wise choice. They were well outmanned. And this is exactly what they're trying to do with us. Now take a look at what's happening in Washington, D.C. with the gun law right now. The gun laws are being decided. They've already said you can have a gun. We've decided you can have a gun, and the right to bear arms did not mean short-sleeve shirts. So the danger now is, what do you mean, and can Washington, D.C. limit the extent of the Second Amendment to its citizens there, or to residents living there? In other words, can they say, yes, you can have a gun unless we say you can't, and then you can't have a gun? If they end up doing that, Montana, Wyoming, and Utah have indicated they would secede from the nation, and Texas is rubbing their chin thinking maybe the same thing. Because these states came in with the exclusive exception that all their people could carry and bear arms. Now, personally, I think when a baby is born, it ought to be given either a pink pistol or a blue pistol. I think everybody should be armed. I think when you walk around, you should know everybody out there has got a gun. What's this going to do? Well, number one, you're not going to sneak up on somebody and shoot them. You're not going to walk into a bank and say, boom, boom, everybody give me your money. You can't walk into a restaurant and terrorize anybody because you're going to get killed. I also believe going along with this gun is everybody should, like a driver's license, be taking a test every year to show competency. I'm not saying everybody needs to be carrying a gun or has the capacity to carry a gun, but all those who can should. I think we should be arming as many people as possible. I would feel comfortable walking around knowing that the only people with guns aren't the gangs. And the gangs would be a little more reluctant to pull out their weapons and shoot somebody when they know they can't just zip down the street, because they're going to be facing a lot of flack themselves. Because the people on the streets are going to be sitting there going boom, 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 boom. And I don't mind a couple of shootouts. Sure, it's going to thin out the population a little bit. It's going to take the idiots right out of the gene pool. And the rest of us are going to live in peace. But again, let me see how much time I have here. I've got an odd setup going on. Oh, does it tell me? Oh gosh, I'm already past my time. them.